Hello there. Hi, it's Fiona Hooper here with the Poetry of Painting. You'll have to excuse what looks like yellow sticky tape on the paintings tonight, but these ones are just put into mounts and cellophane wrapped, so I can't actually hang them. The yellow things are actually hooks, so I can't actually hang them as such at the moment. So excuse the yellow bits, but we will put the painting up on the screen for you to see a bit more clearly once we get going. So welcome everybody to the show, and thank you all for watching, whether you're watching live or on replay. Great to have you along, and please do make comments and ask questions as normal. So my guest this week is the lovely Ritesh Nigam, who has been on the show a few times before, and he's come back again tonight to read us another of his poems. Let me just bring him on the screen. Hi Ritesh, how are you?
Hi, Fiona. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing? Are you managing to stay a bit cool in this hot spell that we're having at the moment?
It's not easy, isn't it? I had a
Mm.
fan on and then I could hear in the audio, so I have to switch it off now. And so I'll be probably sweating while we are talking.
Okay, well, we'll just keep the camera a little bit fuzzy, you know. Oh dear. Well, it's great to have you back on the show, Ritesh. Really is lovely, and looking forward to hearing another of your poems.
Yeah, I
So,
think the feeling is mutual. Always look forward to listen to your shows on replay live as well. Um, Last week I was trying to catch up, and I was outside and still, I was hooked on and listening to. Oh,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
good that
brilliant.
the technology, when you talk about Facebook, gives you a pop-up that Fiona Hooper is live. Oh, it's
Yay.
Wednesday.
I'm live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And um, uh, we've been having several poets recently saying about how they came about to write their poem, what they were thinking, and what influenced them as they were writing their poetry. And we even had Marky Mark. I don't know if you managed to catch that episode where he was going through the stages of starting to compose a poem actually during the show, which was wonderful. So I'm hoping to hear the finished poem in due course, which would be wonderful.
It was
Um,
fun actually to go through the process. Not many people
yeah.
actually share their thinking process. So for me, it was more of a learning thing. Marky is obviously he's been writing for so many years. So
Mm.
it's through you we all are learning something.
Excellent. Well, I've certainly learned a lot about poetry since I started this. Oh, Chris has said, good evening, both. Lovely to be with you again. Thank you very much, Chris, for being with us. I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for
Hello,
coming on
Chris.
to everybody. Um, so, we all learn from, as you say, from hearing about how other people do these things, or in my case, without watching how people do things. And sometimes their methods could be really interesting, but maybe not for you. But you can still learn something from them, but not to copy them as such. But I mean, if I put the painting up now, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you came to this poem, or would you want to read the poem first and then
No, let's talk
say,
about the painting first.
okay, there we go. This is,
Painting is the star of the
yeah.
show. Okay, we
Okay.
all are sub actors, supporting cast. That's the
Yeah.
guy on the girl.
Well, and this one, believe it or not, is actually in watercolors, which for me
Ah,
is very unusual. I did this a few years ago and just fancied playing with some watercolor for a change. And in fact, the other one behind me as well is also a watercolor, which was painted in the south of France. Um, but I love to see a good watercolor, and
mhm.
I could tell you a lot about how to paint in watercolor, but please don't ask me to do your demonstration because I'm no watercolor expert whatsoever. You know, my medium is really oils. Um, so there are plenty of people out there far better qualified to teach watercolor than me. So which is why I don't do it. But occasionally I like to have a little play, and it seemed to come out fairly well. So that's the story behind this one. It's called Bridge on the West Dart, which, as the name suggests, is actually on Dartmoor. and stopped there, and it was just a lovely, really quiet place. The water was just at that time of year just flowing gently. I'm sure in the spring, it could be torrents, but
Yeah.
so that's the story behind the painting. So maybe we can hear the story behind your poem now.
Yeah, definitely. And as the audience know, that we do not discuss about the painting when we choose the painting, and so that makes a surprise for both of us. How I have perceived what you did, and you won't believe that when I looked at it, and it says "Bridge on the West Dart," I actually thought that this has to be some kind of a real bridge,
Yeah.
and you won't believe it. I did a research.
Ah.
So it was more like, when you write a novel, you go to the location and then you explain everything in the poem. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I in the story. And today that is what I have tried to do it through the poem.
Ah.
So
Right.
it was obviously, um, the Google is the answer if you even if you do a image search. But I just search for the bridge on the Dartmoor, um, and then read about it, a little bit of history about it,
Mm.
and then I started writing down few of the words, and as I said, that using the facts, basically where it is, you'll see in the poem those facts coming up, when it was built, what happened, and try to take you to that era, actually. um,
Excellent.
so
Wow.
it's as I said, I think um, it's a different experiment I tried, and still the same link poetry style, and I think sorry, talking about the link poetry, the process when we are talking about, so it makes, obviously, one part it makes tricky that you have to use the word in the end of the sentence, and then you have to start with the same word, but it has
Mhm.
to, it has to extend the story, it has to go beyond, use that same letter in a different, same word in a different way,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
challenges me, and I'm more like a wordplay artist, so I love to play with those words. So here is my poem. I hope you will like it.
I'm sure we
So
will.
the poem title is "A Bridge on the West Dart," exactly like the painting.
Hmm.
I must say, when I started looking at the painting, I think we shared a couple of paintings before, and nothing spoke to me. And I
Yeah.
said, I need to have that painting speak to me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think I told in the chat also that reflections are my, um, what do you say, weakness, or I just love to see the things that way.
Yes.
So here is, so there it was, standing tall, reflecting back at me, who gawks the arches fall, forever to be the road from the Ashburton to the two bridges yet to come alive and be a choice to see. See right here another world on this West Dart river that gazes on and on with its natural quiver or shiver. It never did, just graciously serene like the years rolling from 1413.
Oh,
13. It was on the clock when I sensed its emerging life so long, still prolongs amidst this world so rife in its aura with peaking trees as I tend to paint it on this canvas, capturing still a different once upon the world, a narrow path gliding through the day that lasts longer still, making your way to So sway from here is the Dartmoor's brook, right from its heart. You see now, painted on as a bridge on the West Dart.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. So you know more about the bridge than I do, you see. But you've educated us all. So 14, 20,
14,
14,
13.
13. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
because it was 13 on the clock the next line. I'm sorry. Dear. I got 14 right at least.
Yeah.
14, 13. Wow. I knew it was an old bridge. I didn't realize it was quite that old. It's really quite narrow as well. You only get one car going across at one time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
And
it bends as you get to it. So you're
you
almost
can't
onto the
see.
bridge before you can see if there is another car coming the other way. So yeah, it's a bit of a okay. But it is a lovely place. Have you ever been down that way, Ritesh?
No, actually, no.
Oh,
But yeah,
Dartmoor's
that's on the
lovely.
list now.
Yes, it's Dartmoor's lovely. Three bridges. Sorry, three. That's here. Three bridges. Two bridges is lovely as well.
Mhm.
As its name suggests, it has two bridges. One old one that's no longer actually used, certainly not for traffic, and then a modern one which the cars use. But it's a lovely place, and there's the Two Bridges Hotel there. If you go across the road from the hotel, there's a track that takes you up onto the moors, and you can walk for hours up there. And it takes you up a valley, which is you've got a little stream coming down past some old cottages, and then you carry on up this valley, and then you go through a gate up onto the moorland itself. And if you go up
Oh,
there, it's just amazing. Keep going, and then down on your left-hand side, further up the valley, is some ancient woodland,
oh,
and
okay.
it's really old woodland, and it's got the trees are festooned with lichens and mosses.
Wow.
It's like something out of a film. It's a film set. Actually sitting there on Dartmoor, and
Mm.
the what do they call them now? The big rocks that they've just got these massive rocks sitting there, and the trees are growing up in between them. I
Oh,
can't,
okay.
I can't remember what they're called now, but it's a wonderful place to visit. You really should go, definitely.
You have done quite a good advertisement about it.
Indeed,
I'm
it's a
impressed.
beautiful place. Oh yes, Chris says the bridge was built in 1413, correct? And he says the Tors, but these rocks where the ancient woodland is, they're not as big as the Tors that some of them you can climb up. These are
Okay.
more like big boulders.
Okay.
Look, the name will come back to me. I'll probably blurt it out in a little while when it comes back to me, and you'll think, what? What's she saying there? Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much, Ritesh, for doing
Uh,
yet another poem about one of my paintings. That's a real honour for you to do that, as with all my poets, of course. So
Thank
what's
you,
been
and I think it's
happening? Sorry.
thank you to Chris to look up to the Wikipedia again and confirm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 13, 14, 13. Yeah,
indeed. So what else has been happening in your world at the moment, Ritesh?
lots of cycling.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Uh, yeah, I think I discussed with you last time, or don't know, but with the audience, I would like to share that I since lockdown, I've become a keen cyclist. Cycling for charities. I did London to Essex a couple of I think last month, and then I did London to Brighton, which was
Wow.
an amazing experience. Going around the up and downs. That was my first London to Brighton, and I think
Yeah.
it's a big bucket list tick box for many cyclists. It's like, oh, have you done London to Brighton? Yeah, that kind of
Yes.
thing. Have you been to something? So for cyclists
Mm,
in England, London to Brighton is a must thing that you should have done, and I'm so glad that I was
yeah.
able to finish it off. And next week is the big challenge I've taken up. I'm doing London to Paris.
Wow. Gosh.
So
How many miles is that, do you know?
I think it's almost 360 miles, 500 kilometer.
So that must be what, at least 7 times the London to Brighton, I would have thought, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. It was London to
Wow,
Brighton was 54 miles, and then here and
55.
there, yeah. So around
Yeah,
60 miles we did.
gosh.
So that's a biggie with the hot weather coming in. It was always obviously it could the weather will come in the equation. But hopefully it's a big group. I'm raising money for Action Medical Research. They raise money for the children, sick children, and I've been associated with them almost a year and a half now. So quite a good support. We will be
Excellent.
around 100 riders going to London to Southampton. We'll take a ferry. So at
Yeah.
this time next week, I'll be in ferry, probably watching your show.
Or talking cycling with all the other cyclists.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be amazing. And then 3 days of cycling from south of France into the Paris, and
Yeah.
it actually combined with the Tour de France finale on 24th of July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Gosh.
that will be an amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
And even in our group, we have a yellow jersey winner who is going to um, cycle with us in Paris.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
so it's gonna be yeah, it's like
Challenging.
again, yeah, it is a big challenge, especially with the
Yeah.
hot weather coming in. I think it's
Mm. Let's hope it
I'm
cools
just
down a
keeping
bit.
my fingers crossed. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
What day is it you actually go?
So we will start on 20th of July.
Is
Uh,
that Tuesday? No, Wednesday, isn't
Wednesday,
it?
same day today.
Wednesday, of course it is. Yes,
Yeah,
Wednesday.
and
Yeah.
then we will cycle 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So total 4 days of cycling, and 24th is the free day. Just to be at the time with the finale of the Tour de France. Um,
Yeah.
I was talking about Sean Yates. I have to Google his last name. He is the yellow jersey winner from England,
Ah,
and
yes.
so he will be part of our group when we cycle in France. So
You'd be
just
in
looking
good
forward to
company.
be, just looking
Yeah.
forward to be just part of it. And I think London to Brighton is like but going to a different country, cycling,
Yes.
and an iconic city, London and Paris. Um, that is something.
Yeah.
Just keeping
Maybe.
fingers crossed, and yeah, just pray for me.
Absolutely. And do you have a link where people can donate to the cause for you as well to raise money for the charity?
Yeah,
So
I probably will share the link in the comments.
that'd be
Also,
great.
so I've been supporting this guy in Early, and he cycles around and raise money for Action Medical Research.
Mm,
He cycles in a panda suit.
my goodness. Is he doing the London to Paris
So yes, he is
in a panda suit?
in a panda suit. Yeah. And he,
Wow.
he he is called Early. On his website is earlypanda.com. So Early is where I live. So if
Yeah.
you go onto his website, you can find the Just Giving link. Thanks to you, you have supported the the cause. Thank you so much. And
You're
if anyone
welcome.
would like to, they can come
Yeah.
to earlypanda.com.
We'll put the links in the comments afterwards, as you say, and then people don't have to worry about writing it down incorrectly or anything. So that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah. Just a
definitely.
quick comment, by the way. Chris put up here. He's a bit of a dry sense of humour, our Chris. When you're talking about when the bridge was built, he says 1413. That's amazing. It's only 1914 now. Well done, Chris. It only works if you're on a 24-hour clock. But yeah, if they could
Yeah.
build it that quickly, that would be totally amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, oh, that's. I wish you all the very, very best with that, Ritesh. It's just, I don't think I'd be up to doing, I don't know, from here to London, let alone London to Brighton or London to Paris. Just incredible. And I think I'd have to be in training for about 2 years first.
Well, you don't become a painter overnight. You know that, right?
Well, that's true. Yes. If you want to
Nice.
do something and do it well, you have to put the time in, you have to practice. And I think that's true whether it's arts, whether it's sports, whether it's, anything really. You don't get to be,
Yeah,
proficient and hopefully better than proficient if you don't put the time in, do you? So
true.
well, Chris says, I'll just put it up on the screen. Says, good luck with the ride. It's a brilliant effort for a brilliant cause.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank you,
it is.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. So have you, with all this cycling, Ritesh, have you had time to do any other poetry other than this one, or is that just taking up all your time getting ready for these
Yeah,
rides at the
I think at
moment?
the moment it's taking up all my time. So I've been working on some of the clients' websites and other thing, but uh, no poetry as such. I um, and I think it's at the moment I'm like kind of focused just to make sure that everything is in place. It's
Mm,
and taking rest, then cycling, then taking it, and in this hot
yeah.
weather, have to find out a window of opportunity. When the clouds are there, let's go and do that.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and do they transport any luggage for you at all? Because obviously,
Yeah, they will have a proper support system, bike mechanics, doctors. There will be a van, so they will
right.
take my luggage, our
Yeah.
luggage. Different hotels will be staying overnight, and then while coming back, they will bring the bikes together, and we will take the Euro train,
Oh,
Euro train
right.
back to London.
Ah.
Yeah,
Excellent. Oh, Sammy's just joined us. Says she's hi late again. Sorry, I'll watch again once you post it. Welcome, Sammy. Great to have you watching with us. Thank you. Yes,
thank
you
you.
must listen to Ritesh's poem afterwards. Brilliant, and all of the amazing cycling that he's doing for charity as well, which is amazing. So, people, if you would like to contribute to that, do check for the comments after the show and sponsor Ritesh and his cycles. So. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
How about
yeah.
you?
Oh, I've actually got my paints out again, which is lovely because with various things that were happening recently, including a holiday for a week to the Isle of Wight, which was lovely. Really enjoyed that, and lots of things going on. I realised it had got to about June sometime, and I hadn't actually completed a painting since April. So it was
Okay.
no wonder I was getting sort of, you know, restless fingers wanting to get some paint on canvas again. So recently I have done some new paintings, which will be being shown sometime
Okay.
soon.
I look
I
forward
show them
to it.
first. Thank you. I show them first to people who are on my newsletter list, so my VIP list.
Yep.
So until they've gone out on my next newsletter, I won't be putting them on the website or social media. So, folks, if you do want to see them before anyone else on social media, just sign up to my website at www.FionaHooper.com, and then you'll get to be among the first to see the new paintings that way. So so I've done some new paintings, which is really good. Felt very good to be back painting again. I almost feel like, oh, I wonder if I can still do it. When you haven't painted for a few weeks, and you think, oh,
Mm,
can I? And then once you get going, I suppose a bit like cycling as well. Although it
yeah.
might take a bit longer to think, oh, I'm not sure I can do it. But you just start, and that's it. It all just starts to flow again, which is
Do you,
wonderful.
sorry to interrupt you, do you get a particular a season or the weather that, that invokes your personality that, oh, I need to paint now, or maybe like, oh, it's autumn, I would love to paint in autumn, or something like that? Do you have any preference?
Um,
Or do you feel
I
excited when, like, I feel very excited in autumn when I go for with my photography, with the red, orange, all the
mm,
colors nature is
yes,
painting. um
yes,
so that's
yeah,
that's one of my favorite
mm,
season to go out and take photographs. Or how about you?
yes. Yeah. I do enjoy doing autumn scenes, definitely, with the color on the trees, that little, sometimes not when it's in full autumn where everything's changed color, but when you've
Yeah.
just got bits that are starting, so it's that little pop of color against some that's still green, and just giving that variety. So I do like autumn scenes for painting. uh, there again as well, early in the year, the bluebells, when they're out, that's just
Mhm.
such a wonderful haze of color through the woods and trees. Again, another favorite of mine: trees, mountains, water, coast. But bluebells are lovely. Bluebells are surprisingly difficult to get the right color, I
Mhm.
find. Because in some lights they'll look one color, in a different light they'll look a little, a different
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
And blues like that, especially sort of those sort of violety blues,
Yeah.
are actually quite difficult to really see.
I've done
It,
some photography, and
uh,
you are right that when you are, very close to them, that they will give you a different color, texture, color,
mm,
and when you are like far from them, depending on from where the sun rays are coming,
yeah,
they will look, entirely different. So
absolutely.
I
And
understand
if
that.
there's more shade on them, they're a different color from in the sun, obviously, a different tone and color they seem to be.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, but it's a lovely challenge to have. Summer, some artists don't like summer because there's so much green, but when you
Hmm.
start looking at greens, there are so many different greens as well. And of course, being an artist, you can always change the colors a bit. You can push them one way or the other just to give more variety in the painting anyway. So, we don't, with your photography, if you've got a sea of green, okay, you might be able to do something with it, or you can do things with it once you've taken the photograph. You can work on the computer, but when you're actually taking the photograph, you can't change much about what's in front of you apart from moving around it or waiting for the light to change. But
Yeah.
with an artist, you can change the colors a bit, so that this green's a bit more yellow or muted, this
Mhm.
green's more blue or deeper, so you get some really vivid
Well, actually,
limey
you know,
greens. So
being a photographer with DSLR, you can, create the longer exposures. You can
yeah,
create, so that
yeah,
creates a depth, that creates a, kind of, so with the new cameras, you can actually
mm,
work. And then there are people who actually work on those filters, that how the setting of your camera is
true,
taking that photo,
yes, yeah,
exposure and everything, that can change um, how it is stored and how it is seen.
yeah.
Yeah, but as you say, with the painting, you have the artistic license,
Absolutely, yes, yeah. So, sorry, I was forgetting that, with all the new cameras, bit like the phones, you can change so much on it as you're taking the photograph. So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm thinking back to maybe older style cameras, and then you forget about the phone is
Point
now a
and shoot.
camera as well. So,
Yeah.
well, almost, but yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I've got a favorite time of the year.
Hmm.
Um, I think autumn is getting up there, but for painting, but I love spring as well because it's got the promise of spring, summer, and autumn to follow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that respect, I love spring as well. But I think different. It depends as well on the scene
Yeah.
that's in front of me. I love to paint out on site whenever I can, which hasn't happened too much just lately, but I hope to get back to painting out on plein air in the near future. Otherwise, it's sketches and photographs, and then paint in the studio, especially for the bigger paintings.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more awkward. It's not impossible, but it's more awkward to paint out on site. But
And since we were talking
yeah.
about the DSLR, I remember that I was trying to check something. Today is going to be the super moon. Is
Oh yes, yes.
is
Chris
gonna
said about
be,
that too.
yeah, is gonna be the closest one for this year. And just
Right.
think in the morning, I was checking my DSLR settings so that I can take good photos of moon. Um, but again, I
Yes.
think it's cloudy now. It's not.
It is a bit
So
at the moment, but
yeah,
fingers crossed it might clear before,
yeah. So I
before
think
too
hopefully we'll
long.
get something. I need to find a way, a kind of a place.
Yeah,
So probably we'll get some nice photos shared by other people. Some people, they
yeah,
are just they know the place to be. Where the moon rises
yeah,
and
yeah.
the trees going behind the trees and everything.
Yeah.
Have you
Well,
done night paintings?
um, not much, but Ritesh, I'm going to have to say, I'm afraid we've got to the end of our time.
Oh yes,
Otherwise, it gets difficult to post it properly. So thank you so much. We shall talk about night painting next time. How about that?
definitely.
So thank you so much for doing the poem again and being on the show. Been wonderful to talk with you. Fantastic with the bike rides. All the very best for next week. And let us know how you get on. And thank you, everybody, for watching. So
Thank you,
thank
everybody.
you. And thank you for making the comments, everybody. So thank you, Sammy, as well. I've just seen another comment from you. Lovely. Thank you. So check out the comments, everybody, as well. Thanks, Ritesh. Take care,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.